What's an adult problem you were not prepared for? Write in the comments what you think about this. Enjoy the show. Story 1. My husband's mental health he would never tackle, and it got worse. After 15 years, he racked up a huge amount of debt on manic spending sprees and had long depressive periods and increasing rage. He attacked me and is in jail now. I've got 2 little kids and luckily have a good job and a pretty good life. I just wasn't prepared to deal with this. We were together 15 years, so it's not like we spent 15 years dealing with this. But I have seen lots of adults in my life find themselves in these situations. Even my dad held it together as a dad and husband great until he was 58, and then he gambled away all of his savings and retirement funds, racked up another $90K on credit cards, got a GEF and left. I've seen other relatives or people I know go down a dark path, men and women alike, it happens. But I didn't see this coming. The fun, enthusiastic guy I chose to marry and have kids with after dating for 5 years. He has been suicidal several times. No matter how great our lives went, he would descend further into chaos in recent years. I wasn't prepared for this at all. But the part I really wasn't is the part where I have kids that have a dad in jail. We went from 2 upper-middle-class professionals leading a typical suburban life to dealing how to discuss these things, my kids, with me having to do everything I can to cooperate in the criminal prosecution BC at once. I love this guy and mourn his life and everything that devolved, and miss the good times, but also have to view his current behaviors as the threat and danger they are. It's awful, ETS deaf, the most grown-up problem I've had to confront. Story 2. Burnout hit me hard when I kept pushing past my limits, relying on coffee and ignoring self-care. Losing touch with hobbies and friends made things worse. Now I'm learning that it's okay to slow down, set boundaries, and prioritize well-being over productivity. So the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Story 3. Knowing that no matter how hard you try, there will be no change. The inevitability of human self-destruction is the reality, and all the hope you were given as a child was false. I knew this, but each passing day more and more crumbles away. It eroded as a falling mountainside to dry sand that is now carried away to oblivion by the winds of reality. Story 4. One adult problem I wasn't prepared for is the sudden, overwhelming need to have an opinion on things like trash day or which way to face the couch cushions. Suddenly, you're deep in debates about the best way to store leftovers and which brand of vacuum cleaner is superior. It's like becoming a certified expert in mundane decisions overnight. Story 5. Aging diseases and disorders. Hemorrhoids, creaky joints, tender muscles, hormone deficiencies, and my wife would add menopause. The inevitable cancer, breast for her, prostate for me, just the body checking out on you. And by the time you've hit your late 50s, you'll have known at least one person with cognitive decline, which scares me. Story 6. I still struggle preparing food ahead of time. I oftentimes take 3 things out of the freezer to prepare them ahead of time, but all of the meats defrost and start going bad all at the same time in the fridge. I had to throw away 2 steaks and a pork chop because the other meals lasted for more days than I thought they would, and I often forget what is in the fridge that I left out to be used at a later time. Story 7. Not actually being able to have ice cream for dinner every night like you said you would when you were a kid. I mean, yeah, technically you could. Diabetes be damned and all, but you certainly don't have the metabolism of a kid anymore. 7-year-old me is still very disappointed. Story 8. Honestly, healthcare has been a huge hassle. I take meds for my mental health. And whenever there's a tangle with insurance or doctors or whatever the problem is at the time, I not only have to figure out who to call, then call them, then call the person they claim can actually fix my problem. But I also have to, all that while dealing with whatever hissy fit my brain is throwing because it's not getting the chemicals it's been getting for years now. Holy dicks, is that a run-on sentence? You get my point. Story 9. Facing unexpected disability from a motor vehicle accident that wasn't my fault after the MD botched my surgery while living my best life prior. Facing the stigma of those with an invisible disability by friends, family, and former coworkers who had no idea what I was going through and losing the ability to do the work I loved. It was a dark and lonely time. Thank God for my psychologist. Story 10. Navigating the medical system, getting insurance, paying for insurance, figuring out what doctor you can go to, getting an appointment, making sure your insurance is billed, hoping you weren't lied to some step here, getting a doctor that listens to you and doesn't suck, getting a prescription, getting it sent to the right pharmacy, getting the pharmacy to fill it, picking it up, hoping your insurance was applied correctly. What do you mean this is $50/mo? Trying to find a generic that is covered for cheaper. Oh, the side effects are 30 minutes in the bathroom after lunch. Now you don't have a job. Fuck you. Start over. Story 11. Adulting. One problem I wasn't prepared for is finding the perfect balance between wanting to be a responsible adult and the urge to binge watch entire seasons of TV shows at 2 a.m. It turns out my financial planner doesn't consider Netflix and chill a valid retirement plan. Story 12. One adult problem I wasn't fully prepared for is the ongoing challenge of balancing time, energy, and priorities. When you're younger, it's easy to imagine that adulthood means freedom and independence. But the reality often involves juggling multiple responsibilities, work, relationships, self-care, and more, all within limited time. Managing this balance while staying motivated and avoiding burnout can be surprisingly tough. Story 13. Having elderly parents and becoming the decision maker for them. One day I was in a doctor's office with my mom and the doctor needed a decision on a treatment plan. All of a sudden I realized I was the adult decision maker in the room. Does anyone else have adult imposter syndrome? I'm 50. And I have no idea how I'm supposed to have any answers never ending. Make the right decision. Story 14. That my sad, mean, lonely old dad would constantly come into my life and drag me into his because he has no one to talk to, no real friends, and just moan constantly day in and day out about my mom, his ex-wife, until I lost the ability to feel positive, happy thoughts myself. And now I'm like him, angry at the world. No more friends or happiness where I used to have lots. I used to look at him wandering around the house like a ghost and be worried, and now I have the same aimlessness to me, like I forget where I am and have forgotten how to go outside and enjoy my day. I look in the mirror and see a dead man. Story 15. Deciding what to cook for dinner every single day. For my whole adult life, I'm running thin on ideas to change things up, and I'm already so overwhelmed with other tasks, and I have ADHD, so it's hard to do it every single day. When I ask what everyone feels like and wants for dinner, I always hear, whatever is easiest, or it doesn't matter to me, whatever you feel like. And that isn't very helpful, LOL. Story 16. That my brain kind of stopped working. I am 30 and it is super hard for me to memorize different stuff and information anymore. In my 20s, I could remember anything within reading once. Not anymore. I've been studying ever since I finished high school, so it is not like my brain get out of practice. Story 17. The relentless repetition. It's only really snuck up on me these last few years. I'm not sure when it changed. Perhaps it was related to job. Just the horrific Groundhog Day, like feeling for 5 days of the week, followed by feeling guilty, but too tired to do all the things you promised yourself you would do at the weekend. Story 18. Cleaning is a huge problem. I feel like I'm the only one who cares to live with a clean 8 toilet and at least one half of the dishes. I hate a dirty house, but I can live with it if the effort is made. My situation is this. I have major back problems, stenosis. I had a fusion in March, and I'm looking at another fusion of the lumbar spine. Okay, enough of that. But you know as well as I that because I'm off of work, I am expected to run the house. Hello, I am disabled. I rarely use that card, but come on. I even have suggested having someone come in every 2 weeks. The problem is the house is too dirty for anyone to see. I'm exhausted. It's an endless battle. Story 19. Time management. Work, sleep, cooking, chores, socializing, doctor's appointments, chronically ill, self-care, working out, family time, taking care of pets, and leisure. I'll never feel like there is enough time in one day. I genuinely do not know how people keep up with this and have children. If that's you, you're unbelievably resilient. Hats off to you. Story 20. Protecting my children from traumatic and disturbing things as often as I do. Currently have one kid that was told about a sexual assault and one that was given way too much info about a local murder by adults. Kids are kids. Their brains are not developed enough to process things like this. No, I'm not a helicopter parent. I just don't want you causing my kids sleepless nights and anxiety. Story 21. Insurance BS. Like here, we are obligated to pay health insurance. You fall under the family plan until you are like 25, and after that, you have to pay it yourself or sort it out in some other way. Well, nobody told me, and I never came across that info until it was a tad too late back then. Still sorted it out, but that was quite the adrenaline rush finding out you owe someone money, LOL. Story 22. How hard it is to get help when you need it. Waited over a week for an emergency plumber as there is so much demand and not enough tradesmen. When I was a kid, I thought you just called the plumber, builder, or whomever, and they just came and did the job. It's a helpless feeling knowing you literally cannot even pay someone to come sort an emergency and will just have to turn off all the water for the foreseeable. Story 23, just avoiding going to jail. Making payments on everything, house/car/bills so I don't get fined again for not being able to pay, and then finally jail. Walking down the street and a cop thinks you look/smell/act funny. Jail. Driving and you accidentally have to swap away a bug? Sorry, sir, you were swerving and the cop doesn't like being explained to like an adult. It hurts his fees, jail. On the topic of cars, were you just driving in a way that, while legal, the Leo didn't like? Believe it or not, jail. Literally just for doing something in a way they don't like. Accidentally made eye contact with a woman and she thinks you're being pervy? Public situation, hysteria, jail. Mistake at the grocery and you didn't swipe pay for something? Why bother sorting out this mistake when you can show up angry and full of testosterone shots that make it easier to see red and throw someone in jail? Trying to relax and go clubbing/bar hopping? Better bring a TQ and a spare vest for the missus because you're going to wait. No, that's not where this one was going. It was about the dangers of gun violence, but still, get shot or go to jail. What a fun choice. It's wild how easy it is to end up in a cage here in America. It's almost as if that's the plan. And before anyone says, that's what the legal system is for, to fight injustices, or whatever bullshit you can think of, I invite you to research the multiple people who have been held behind bars after having their sentences overturned, sometimes even being held illegally under the AG's orders. That's your justice. That's your judicial America. There is no justice in a system designed for legalized slavery, where the very agents of justice seek blood, where the laws written aren't made to protect but control. What a safe and fun country. Story 24. The floor in the master bathroom is wet. No one's taken a shower recently. A couple of the ceramic floor tiles on the concrete foundation make squishing noises when you step on them. Fortunately, I haven't booked anything yet for this upcoming vacation I had planned. I'm calling my insurance first thing tomorrow to see what they recommend. The leak is super slow, but I have no doubt it'll become a problem pretty quick if I don't deal with it. Story 25. How much time you lose to do anything. Breakfast, work 6+ hours, cook for 1.5, 3 HRS, do the dishes, eat, shower, and suddenly it's time for bed. Maybe squeeze a workout or a brisk walk somewhere. It's no wonder most people leave big chores and errands for the weekends. Speaking of weekends, they go by extremely quickly now. I used to enjoy doing hobbies and spending the day just doing nothing, but now I would feel guilty and like I'm falling behind if I did that. The phrase, "guess I'll do it tomorrow then," has become very common for me. Not out of laziness, but because I had planned to do a particular task and time just flew by. By the end of the day, after dinner, I'm usually very tired and don't want to do any tasks. Story 26. How much work just staying alive is. Cleaning, laundry, dishes, bills, cooking, grocery shopping. I spend so much of my time and energy every day on just surviving in my home. And when something breaks, I need to go out, compare prices, buy the thing, install the thing. And if I don't do it, things keep piling up, sometimes quite literally, and become even more unmanageable. Story 27. How you never stop cleaning your living space and how dishes are never ending, even if you occasionally use plasticware. Like, I try to put pots and pans away and they literally get used a day or two later, so like, putting them away was so comically temporary. Laundry is also tedious. I have to do 2 loads a week and then eventually wash sheets and blankets once a month once I have a few sets ready to go. Grocery shopping is the only kind I actually like. Story 28. Okay, so I have to go to work. I get it, and I can't just miss it because the work goes nowhere. And if I miss too much, it'll look bad. Cool. But then, everything is open when I'm at work and closed when I get off. If I need to have repairs done at my house, fucking how? I got a guy coming next week to install a new shower, and I need to figure out how he's going to get in and out of the house because I can't take a week off while he installs my shower. So now some stranger is going to be alone in my house for a week because when else would he do it? And doctor's offices only do appointments when I'm working. Why aren't they available in the evening or Saturday? 90% of my adult life is figuring out how the fuck I'm supposed to get house repairs and doctor's appointments done while also being employed. Let's not even talk about how exhausting all that shit is. But then I still have to go to work anyways after doing it. Story 29. Adults are just big kids, but usually worse it seems. Stubborn, won't share, won't be nice, won't apologize, lying, stealing, gossiping, bad attitudes, lazy, whiny, messy. You get it, LOL. I'm not saying everyone is or all the time. When it comes to some coworkers, drivers, they're everywhere. I learned quickly that we never actually grow up, we mature, but overall, we still like cartoons and candy and whatever else we liked as a child. Not that's it's bad, I rather enjoy it. Story 30. Unasked for responsibility, authority. When a young person needs your help or advice or whatever, sometimes just out of the blue, it's hard to explain, but just like that moment when you realize that this person needs an adult, even when sometimes they're an adult themselves, just a much younger one, and you're an adult, and there aren't really any other ones, or at least not any better ones around. So you just got to take a breath and wing it, and try not to screw it up too badly. Story 31. My sprinklers in the backyard are running water at the wrong time. I went to the sprinkler system box to check, and it shows nothing is running. I then turned off the sprinkler system box and my sprinklers are still running water. I Googled what the cause is and it seems I just need to find the water sprinkler box that is on the ground and either tighten or replace a solenoid. However, I can't find the ground sprinkler box anywhere. I then Googled how to find sprinkler box and come to learn it may be buried in the ground and you have to get a special tool located if you don't know where it's at. It's late at night now, and I have to Google how to turn off the main water to the backyard so I can stop the water from running. What the hell? I was not taught about this or warned this would be an issue I'd one day deal with. Definitely not prepared. Story 32. As a kid, I was taught about the basics of life and the responsibilities of a child. I was even told I have to play a lot, pretty much age appropriate. On the other hand, in my teenage years, all my parents and teachers kept nagging me about adulthood. Study hard to get into uni. Prepare for your future. Beware the problems of adulthood. Adult life this, adult life that, adultery, etc. I still wonder why they all were obsessed with adulthood. But nobody told me how to teen. As a result here, I am as an adult almost capable of living a decent life, if not for this crazy strong craving for the charm of teenage years. My adult problem is my inability to make up for the adventure I missed in my teens. I feel like a grumpy old fart even though I'm only 33. Story 33. Having to do other people's work for them. If I just do mine, the boss acts like I'm not pulling my own weight, but the coworker gets away with slacking off because of favoritism. Every job I've had has been like that. Noisy neighbors. It affects every aspect of life. Blaring music till 6 a.m. Yeah, you're not sleeping and still have to work after. Get home and it happens all over again. Building management won't try to set them right. Talking to them doesn't help. And you have to leave your own home to get any sleep. When I lived with my parents for a year when I was 25, their student neighbors did that. 7 days a week, music till 5 a.m. No one slept. Police gave ticket after ticket, but that's all. No one teaches you how to handle it. What are your legal options, etc.? Turns out you have none other than telling the police or building manager, but they don't have to do squat. You just suffer. My old apartment and newer one both had neighbors like this too. Recent one, my next door neighbor, you can hear music 8 floors up. So loud I couldn't sleep, couldn't talk on the phone or watch TV. Couldn't do anything. Music would blare several days a week till 7 a.m. Several of us complained about it, but nothing has been done. It's horrible. And no, earplugs don't work. Story 34. How absolutely awful it can be to own a car. When I was a kid, it was just, oh, this thing drives you places, it works, that's all you need to know. And now it's, oh, it needs insurance payments each month. Also, oil changes every X kilometers. Also, sometimes you need to replace your rims. Oops, goodbye 2K. Oh, and now it's going to hail on you when you're driving to work. And your nice, cool little car is now a golf ball that you're not sure if it'll be written off or not. Have fun. My one way to have a life and independence causes so much stress. I could never use transit as my main mode of transportation, though, so crazy car life it is. Or maybe I'm just unlucky. I'm so tired, LOL. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Be sure to write comments and share your stories.